There's nothing like having to commute on the subway, especially in New York City. According to the New York State Department of Health, more than 1 in 5 New Yorkers has symptoms of a mental health disorder. This could be the reason random attacks are so prevalent in the city. Back in April, a man threw cans of fire at a group of strangers standing on the platform on the One Line in Chelsea. On May 6, 2024, more chaos ensued when Michael Crossland, a career criminal, kicked and punched a woman multiple times in the right shoulder and stomach. Once he was done assaulting the woman, he decided to set some papers on fire inside the subway car. It's just another day on an NYC train. The story of Connie Watton is just as crazy, so get ready to kill some time with me.
Before I begin today's story, I want to provide a brief disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes. I provide commentary, criticism, and relay facts and theories regarding underreported criminal cases centered around women of color. I compile information from news outlets, social media, public records, and court documents. My intention is not to defame, slander, or spread misinformation. Viewers are more than welcome to do their own research.
49-year-old Connie Watton is living comfortably with her husband, Robert, in the Big Apple. The Filipino-born woman has come a very long way since she immigrated to the U.S. at the age of 16. She spent decades working for billionaire Blackstone Group CEO Stephen Schwarzman's family as a chef for 3 decades, which led her to rubbing shoulders with the Clintons and the Bush family. But none of this had gotten to her head. The love of her life, whom she met in 2005, describes his wife as one of the most loving, kind, caring individuals anyone could ever meet. On Monday, November 7, 2016, Connie was on her way to a friend's home to deliver a present, who had just recently become a mother. This was supposed to be another ordinary day in her life. No one could believe what happened next.
A woman fatally pushing another woman onto the subway tracks.
Yeah, it happened late this afternoon on the one train platform at the Times Square station. Eyewitness News reporter Lauren Glassworth is in Times Square live with the breaking details. Lauren.
Liz and David, take a look behind me and you will see officers, MTA workers, and police tape blocking the entrance for the 123 trains downtown here at Times Square. At about 1:20, police say a woman was pushed onto the tracks right as the downtown one pulled into the station at Times Square. That is the local train, and the woman who was pushed has died. Her body still under the subway car, according to police, while their investigation continues. Police say they have a female in custody who they are calling a person of interest. She was apprehended by transit police who were flagged down by witnesses on the platform. It is unclear whether the person of interest and the victim knew each other.
Watton's family, specifically her husband Robert, was completely distraught. He's not doing very well. He's in total shock, a relative told the New York Post, and I can only imagine what he must have been experiencing. No amount of preparation can shield anyone from the impact of such a shocking experience. Apparently, the suspect, Melanie Liverpool, told her boyfriend that she intended to travel to Brooklyn to do some shopping, but instead, she and Connie had been talking or arguing on the platform before the fatal shove. The deranged commuter who ended Connie's life so tragically is a deeply emotionally disturbed young woman. The 30-year-old has a history of bipolar and schizophrenia. Just a little over 3 weeks ago, Melanie witnessed a German student take her life by jumping in front of the train at Union Square and made a false police report when she claimed that she had pushed a student over a subway platform and that she was responsible for the woman's death, when in fact the victim died by self-deletion after having a hard time healing from a breakup. Melanie was then admitted to Bellevue Hospital and later released. Police are convinced that this may have inspired her to shove Connie to her death. Stories like this make you wonder, what kind of a world do we actually live in, where people are clearly exhibiting signs of serious instability and nothing is done to prevent them from harming themselves or others? Back in 2022, NBC4 New York obtained data by NYPD Statisticals Analysis stating that the number of arrests related to individuals with a mental health history has spiked in the last 5 years. Things seem to be getting progressively worse. Melanie's arraignment took place the following day, and she denied any wrongdoing, even though there were witnesses, and she initially admitted to pushing Connie over the platform. Liverpool was charged with second-degree murder. Melanie can be seen rolling her eyes while the judge was speaking. She can also be seen speaking on her own behalf and needed to be reminded that that was her attorney's responsibility. In my estimation, it's clear that Melanie was not in her right mind.
"33-year-old former home health care aide Melanie Liverpool gets 20 years to life in prison. She admits she killed 49-year-old Connie Watton, who she did not know, by pushing her in front of a number 1 train at the Times Square 42nd Street subway station on November 7, 2016. At the sentencing, she did not speak, in stark contrast to her arraignment in February 2017, where she rolled her eyes and denied everything.
I did not know.
Her eventual change of heart and guilty plea spared Watton's family a trial and came with the agreement that she'll likely be freed when she's in her 50s, something that caused Watton's loved ones to bristle. Here is the victim's first husband, Mark Corman.
Nothing to say that she wouldn't go and prey on another innocent person.
This is Robert Watton, who was her husband at the time of the shocking killing. He asked we not record his victim impact statement, where he described Connie as thoughtful and generous, working as a housekeeper and cook for a New York family, sending money home to her family in her native Philippines. In the courtroom, Robert Watton said he is forever haunted by what happened to his wife here. And then he had some choice words for her killer. He called her a demented piece of garbage, then addressed her with "You are heartless and you have no soul." She did not make eye contact with him. Her attorney, Aaron Wallenstein, tried to get the judge to hand down a lighter sentence, citing a tough childhood. She had falsely confessed to another subway pushing that was ruled a suicide, sent to Bellevue Hospital for psychiatric treatment, and released 5 days before the push that killed Watton.
She's certainly remorseful for her actions.
In giving Liverpool the maximum sentence he could, the judge noted this tragedy as, quote, the quintessential urban nightmare in Lower Manhattan. Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
And I understand Robert's frustration. He lost the love of his life. Connie was a joy to be around. Her family, friends, and employer had nothing but good things to say about her. Her death was gruesome. Reports state that her body was severed in half. No one deserves that. So on May 9th, 2019, Melanie self-deleted. She was 33 years old, and the former aid worker was declared dead at around 3:44 a.m. the Bedford Hills Correctional Facility. Her death comes 1 month after the judge sentenced the schizophrenic woman to 20 years in prison. Here are my final thoughts. Every day we hear reports of random attacks, incidents that leave communities reeling and raise questions about safety and security. But what often goes unnoticed is the complex interplay these attacks and mental health. Ultimately, the conversation about random attacks and mental instability must continue. We need compassion, understanding, and action. It's our collective responsibility to foster a culture that prioritizes mental health and safety.